everyone, it's Tanya at Move Deeply. Today I've got a combination mini restorative class that has somatic movements and restorative yoga pose at the end. So the focus of this one is to open through the front body in your shoulders and chest and all through your abdominal muscles in the front of your torso. So if you sit at a desk a fair bit, this is a great release partway through your day or at the end of your day before you go to bed, especially the restorative pose at the end. And you don't need any fancy props for this. I do have a bolster, but you can just roll up a blanket and tie it up with rope or a belt. And I also have some yoga blocks. These are totally optional, but they can help to lift up your bolster further if you want a little more lift. And if you do want to start practicing more restorative, they are a great tool to have. And I also have a foam chip block in this case just to support myself additionally. And they're nice to have once you're doing more of this at home. So at the end of this video, we're going to just have a nice mellow coming back to reality. And if you enjoy what you experience, then be sure to head over to movedeeply.com for more videos and articles about somatics and restorative movement and how to get back into moving and exercise if you've been recovering from injury or a time of inactivity. I've got lots of ideas for you to help you get back into things or just restore your body if you're feeling generally a little stiff and sore. So get into something comfortable and yeah, we'll get started. All right, so we're going to start on our backs. So just bring yourself nice and slow down to the mat. Let your shoulders come away from your ears. And just slide your feet out and notice how you're feeling lying down on the mat. Just notice where your body is touching the floor, where it's away from the floor. And since our focus today is our front body, just notice the muscles here from your shoulders all the way down into your chest and through into your abdominals, your belly, and down into your lower abdominals, around your pelvis. So now bring your feet back onto the mat with your knees bent. Just bring your hands onto your belly here. We'll take a few deep belly breaths. Inhale, fill your belly. Feel your hands rise up. And exhale, let it all out. Again, inhale, fill up your belly. And exhale, release, maybe sigh it out. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Place your hands on either side of your body, wide enough so that your shoulders and chest feel open. And make sure your shoulders are flat against the mat. We're going to practice a few rounds of the arch and flatten just to warm up the spine. So inhale, start to arch your low back away from the mat as you draw the tops of your hip bones away from your ribs, pressing into your tailbone gently. And then exhale, let gravity bring you back down to neutral. And then press your low back into the mat, drawing your hips towards your ribs this time, getting rid of any space between the mat and your back. And then inhale, start to release that back to neutral. And come back into that arch. Nice and gentle. Exhale, start to let gravity bring you back. And then press into your low back. And inhale one more time. Just let yourself come back to neutral naturally. And then arch your low back. Exhale, let it release. And then press your low back into the mat. And then let that come back to neutral. Now we're going to be doing the arch and curl. So we'll do a couple of these with your hands behind your head and your elbows out to the sides. This is to release the front body, and we'll also do something at the end to release your chest muscles a little bit. So inhale to that arch. Exhale, let it release. Press into your low back, and then slowly curl up. Bring your elbows in towards each other on either side of your face. And then slowly, with control, as slow as possible, come back down. Keep your elbows where they are. And once your head touches the floor, then very slowly squeeze your elbows together. They might touch, they might not. And then, with control, open them back out, slow as you possibly can. Releasing them back to the floor, letting gravity do the work while you slowly resist at the same time. And then relax completely. You might already notice that your elbows are touching the mat a little closer, or you don't have quite as much tension through your chest. And again, inhale to arch. Exhale, slowly let that release. Press your low back into the mat. Bring your elbows in and curl. At this point, your elbows are not touching, they're just parallel on either side of your face. Slowly, with control, come back down. Feel your front abdominals releasing. And once your head is on the floor, squeeze your elbows together. And then slowly open them back out to the mat. And completely relax. One more time, inhale to arch. And slowly release that back down. And on your exhale, pressing into your low back, make sure your belly is hollowing out as you come up into your curl. Elbows parallel, and then slowly, with control, release back down. And once you're resting on the bottom, squeeze your elbows in and slowly relax them out. And completely release. Now we'll be doing this asymmetrically. So bring your left arm just along your side and lift your right foot off the floor. Just let your knee hover over the hip as comfortable as possible. You're going to bring your left hand on just below your right knee and just let it rest there. You should be as relaxed as possible in this position. And we're going to inhale to arch. Your knee will start to move away from you. And exhale, start to release back down. Press into your low back, hollow out your belly, and then curl up towards your knee. Squeeze. Feel that contraction through your abdominals on the right side now, and then slowly release back down with control, as slow as you possibly can, and then completely relax. Again, inhale to arch. Exhale, slowly let it release back down. Flatten your back, hollow your belly, and exhale, curl up, bringing your elbow towards your knee. And then with control, start to release that back down, at least as slow as I am. Just really feel that contraction on the right side of your abdominals. And then release your elbow back to the floor. Now relax your hand to the side, bring your foot back down, and so now we're going to be doing this on the diagonal. Bring your right knee up again. Rest your right hand on the knee this time, or just under the knee. Or if that feels like it's kind of pulling your leg out, you can try just resting it underneath your thigh. I tend to prefer this way. So just experiment with what feels the most relaxed for your body. So again, we'll inhale to arch. Your knee will move away from you. Exhale, let it come back down with gravity. And then press into your low back, hollow your belly. This time, bring your left elbow towards your right knee and squeeze gently. Feel a little bit different contraction through your abs here. And then slowly, slow as you possibly can, release it back down. And relax. One more time, inhale to arch. Let that knee relax away from you. Exhale, come back. Slowly press it to your low back, hollow the belly, and still exhaling as you come up. Elbow towards your knee. And then slowly release back down. And relax. Release your leg, release your arm. Now you can keep your left hand behind your head here. Bring the left knee over your left hip. Find a relaxing position there. This time placing your right hand on your left knee. Focusing on the left side here. Inhale to arch. Just notice if anything feels different or asymmetrical compared to the other side of the body. Slowly release back down. Press your low back into the mat, hollow your belly. Bring your elbow and your torso towards your knee. Gently squeeze. Feel that contraction. And then slowly release back down. With control, as slow as you possibly can. Your hand is just supporting your head. We're not using it to pull our head up. Just be mindful of that. The action is coming from our abdominals. Inhale to arch. Exhale, slowly release. Press into the low back and curl up. Squeeze gently. And then slowly, with control, relax back down. Now we'll place the left hand on the knee and the right hand behind the head, doing it on the diagonal on this side now. Inhale to arch. Exhale, slowly release. Press your low back in, curl up, come across through to the diagonal with your elbow towards your knee, and then slowly open back out, slow as you possibly can, and relax. Again, you can put that hand on the thigh if that feels better. Inhale to arch. Exhale, slowly come down. Press into the low back, and curl diagonally towards your left knee. And then slowly with control, coming back down. And completely relax. Release all your limbs down to the ground. Just come into that starting lying down pose, Shavasana. And notice how your body's feeling. Is your chest a little bit more open? Do your shoulders feel like they might be closer to the ground? When you take a deep breath in, do you feel like you can get more air in? Just noticing any differences here. If you don't feel much, that's totally fine as well. Sometimes it takes a few times to start feeling the difference as we start to learn the movements and get better at controlling them. So now slowly roll over onto one side, bring yourself up, and we're going to get ourselves ready for our restorative pose to help open up the muscles through the chest even more. So, as I said in the intro, you don't need a bolster. You can roll up a blanket and just tie it up with belts or a rope, and then put a pillow on top. Or you can just use a stack of pillows. If you do have a bolster, that's great. Otherwise, you can also, if you have yoga blocks, you can use those underneath a pillow. Just experiment with what feels best under your back. I like to, I'll show you my favorite version, is to place a block just underneath the top part of the bolster so it's a little higher. And then sometimes, depending on how my low back's feeling, I don't want to have as much of an arch. I'll sit on another small block. So first I'm going to just see how that feels. And with restorative, that's really what it's all about. It's how it feels. So you can first come down, just take a moment, see if that feels like it's pretty good. If you don't feel completely supported, then just take a moment to see where you need the support. Maybe your arms want something under them. You can put some pillows underneath your forearms. Or maybe, in my case, I need a bit of lift under my bum with this elevation. So that feels pretty good for me. You have an option to extend your legs out as long as you can feel supported. So I like to put a pillow or another bolster under my knees in that case. Or you can also come into a butterfly and just make sure that your hips are supported. So in this case, I would put pillows or blocks under my upper thighs. Today I'm just going to bring my knees in to touch, so there isn't as much stress on my inner thighs then, or to keep my legs up. And I'm just going to let my arms dangle to the sides here. Make sure your head is completely supported. And we're just going to lie here for a few minutes, allowing the chest to open up further. You can take a few deep breaths here. Letting the movements we just did integrate into the body. The main thing in this pose is getting your chest lifting up and opening. So as long as your pillows or bolster or whatever combination of props you have is lifting your torso above your hips, then you're getting the right kind of chest opening here. Try to just allow yourself to surrender in this pose. Don't worry about what you have to do next. If you do, just imagine that it's getting packed up by a big fluffy cloud, and then it gets taken away with a nice calm breeze with the rest of your thoughts. Slowly let your body melt into your props and into the floor. Relax your face muscles. You might want to open and close your jaw a few times slowly. Stick out your tongue. If you're doing this at the end of your day, if you try the video again, then you can always put like a cloth over your eyes to just darken the area around you and help you get into a restful state that will make it easier to fall asleep when you get to bed. And you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. When you're ready to get out, just roll over to one side carefully. Lie on one side for just a few seconds, or as long as you want. And then gently press yourself up to seated. Take a moment in seated to see how you're feeling. And if your eyes are closed, just blink them open and proceed with the rest of your day. Thanks for following me today, and we'll see you next time. And in the meantime, keep moving deeply.